What is happening, everyone? Art from Patience Metal Fab, and I'm on a bit of a road trip right now, kind of in the middle of nowhere, which is the best place to do what we're planning to do in this episode. Now, if you've been following along, you know we've been dabbling more in side-by-sides. We came out with some product, the GoGrid Molly panels. I'll put a link in the description for those. And then in the last video, we talked all about the Polaris RZR cages that we're developing. And if that's out, I'll also throw that in the description. What we're going to be doing now that we're making more connections in the side-by-side world is actually going out to some land away from the cities, about an hour northwest of our shop, and we're going to be doing both product development and a bit of a play date. There's supposed to be a number of Polaris models up there, and the idea is for us to be able to test drive these and potentially expand product fitment. So I have no idea what we are expecting up there. I'm about 10 minutes away. Gary's right behind me, so you guys need to stick around for this episode and have a little fun with us. Pulling in behind Gary and what I thought was going to be basically an open piece of land, some woods, is actually an entire compound. It is ridiculous here. There's probably 10 side-by-sides from everything I'm seeing. There's this giant pole barn and a bunch of really nice trucks. My Tacoma is the worst thing out here, but beyond that, over there is a lot of different terrain and things to test these out on. Before we even think about going out there, we got to get down to business, get into the pole barn, and it sounds like there's a few different models out there for us to do some scanning on and to take measurement. So Gary is taking all the equipment out now. I'm gonna go catch up with him and see what his game plan is. Gary, looks like you're no nonsense, straight to work.
30 minutes of sticking dots is where we're at now.
Yeah, well, I was saying earlier when I saw you doing this is the kids could do it. There's a couple running around. You just get them on, sticking these things all over the place.
The issue is you probably get little clusters here and there and missing spaces.
So really, what is the purpose behind these?
This allows the 3D scanner to pick up the actual piece. So we'll go through, we'll scan, we'll identify the location, all the dots. And then once we're done with that, we'll come back in and it'll recognize the dots from the previous scan, and then that's where we begin to pick up data of the actual structure. This allows us to reverse engineer all our mounting points and everything on these. That's how we make sure our cages fit.
Let's run through the process. Essentially, we're going to be putting these stickers on, getting the scanner out. The scanner's going to pick up on all of those points and then make a digital version of this. So what can we do with that after?
It's really just it's a reference in the background of a CAD program is what it comes down to. So then you can pick up actual points, you can get dimensional information on it, and you can make sure that the cage that you design actually matches this. Of course, we'll still test fit everything on an actual car once the fixture is done, but it just allows us to do a lot of the design work remotely instead of having to actually have one of these sitting in the shop.
So this is kind of the new age of fabrication. What you do these days is you can line up 6 of these, put the stickers on, get the scanner out, get it all digitally imported, and then go back to your shop, and then you're able to play around with different designs. We can actually feed it into our equipment and then cut and bend the piping to be able to fit. Now eventually we'll want to get it back on one of these chassis to verify the fitment, but we can do 90%, 95% of the work.
We can pretty much do all the design work, have tubing bent, ready to go, so that when a customer brings us one of these, whoever is gracious enough to let us borrow it for R&D, we basically need it for a day or two to test fit instead of spending 3 weeks of the time having their machine in-house.
This is also a RZR, and the one that we did the cage for was a different model from what I gathered. What are the differences here?
So the one we did it for is the new RZR Pro, or the newer RZR Pro. They've been out for a couple years now. That's where Polaris has focused their turbo stuff on. This is the XP1000. This is a brand new platform. It'll probably have a 6-year production run, so we're in nice and early on this one, which is cool.
Which means a lot of you watching this probably don't have this model yet. It's something maybe you're aspiring to. It's really cool, obviously, and it's the top of the line one right now. So the more time that passes, the more of these you're gonna see out in the wild doing their thing, and hopefully the more you're gonna see PMF products on them. Gary's laid about 600 dots on that razor, and he's gonna start scanning in maybe 15-20 minutes. These guys are having fun out here. I heard some of the side-by-sides rolling around, and literally rolling. I saw out of the corner of my eye one of them flip over here, and they've got some really heavy equipment to flip them back over. It looks like industrial equipment that they can actually lift the whole thing up with. So I'm getting out here and seeing what they're up to. Incredible how capable these things are. I mean, you were nearly front end down on the ground.
Yeah, they'll do more than most people want them to.
right, well, I just spent the last half hour rolling around with these guys. They were so friendly and cordial, inviting me into the cars and just kind of getting a sense for what the side-by-side lifestyle feels like, and it's exhilarating, especially on a course like this. You guys saw some of the amazing obstacles out there. It's really world-class out here, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, private land, and a club called the Wrecking Crew. So I'll give those guys a shout out for sure and just kind of show you around the facility. For now, I'm making it back to the pole barn to see how far Gary's gotten. While I've been out playing, Gary's been doing all of the hard work, unfortunately for him anyway, but he's doing something really interesting here. You can see he's got the scanner out, and it's sort of a game in itself as he described it. So Gary, you want to give us the rundown on exactly what you got going on?
Yeah, so on the screen there's a little bar on the left side that goes blue, green, red. That tells me how far away I am for getting all the targets plotted, so this thing has spatial recognition as to what it is when we start scanning the surface that it's actually scanning.
Gary is experiencing some technical difficulties with the scanner. He's got it all plotted out, and it is starting to render on the screen as you saw, but it's not quite where we want it, and that's the reality of something like that. You really have to play with it, dial it in, and as much as I wish I could help, I can't, so I'm making it back out to the course. We've had a lot of people show up. There's probably a dozen side-by-sides doing their thing out here, and as I learned, all of these obstacles have different challenges associated with them. There's a lot of rollover risk here, so if you're not a confident driver, you can end up on your roof. I'm not saying I want to capture that footage, but when in Rome, I'm going to be out here and see if we can get some carnage. I mentioned the technical difficulties. Well, one of the reasons is the black paint on the side-by-side is too shiny for that scanner to pick up in some places. So we're improvising, adapting, and overcoming by getting it a little dusty. So what Gary's been doing is coming out here, getting some fine powder on his hands and then onto the bar, and the scanner's actually been picking it up. What we're learning is the scanner's having a little bit of a hard time distinguishing between the bar and the roof section, and even with the ceiling right here, kind of dimensionally where everything's at. So Gary's sticking on a bunch more of these little stickers, and hopefully it's able to triangulate and pick up on that a little bit easier. What's your confidence level here?
I think we're in good shape. We consulted the engineers, so...
Famous last words, I think we're in good shape. Fast forward to midnight. Maybe it's too early to celebrate this working, but I think persistence did it, because Gary just spent the last hour and a half trying to get this scanned in, and it seems like now it's actually forming in the system.
3 days later.
I made the joke a few days ago when we were out at the side-by-side day that we were going to be there till midnight, and we nearly were.
It was pretty late when I got out of there.
Right, so I guess we want to do a little bit of recap and end this video with some of the takeaways that we got. My takeaways are side-by-sides are an absolute blast. I've never really been able to get out like that. I've been on, so like a Polaris General like you have, just out on the trails, going slowly, doing a little bit of camping. Nothing like I experienced that you guys saw in the video. I was amazed with the capabilities of those things, and amazed, despite a couple of them breaking down, how well they held up with that abuse. It was absolutely cool.
Been saying it.
Yeah. So I understand why there's such a big market and demographic for these vehicles. What were your learning lessons kind of confined to the pole barn?
I mean, considering that was my first time with the scanner, the crash course I got going out there was good, but next time what took 5 hours will probably take about 2.5. Other than that, I mean, just super cool opportunity to be out there, work with the stuff that was out there, have access to that machine. Real nice opportunity.
So from my side, I got the media content that I wanted, and after talking to those guys, there's plenty more to come. They enjoy having us out there and capturing some of the fun that they're having. And then on your end, now that you have these digital scans, what exactly is the game plan?
Well, the computer's back over with the NextRev engineers. Patrick over there will process the scan data that we got and then give me a usable file that I can use to design the next cage, the tree kickers, some bumper stuff for that platform.
So that means there's a lot of media to come. There's also a lot of products to come for that side-by-side, and then also a variety from there. And we've got the scanner so we can keep growing our assortment of product offerings. And if you guys haven't subscribed to our page and you're enjoying it so far, please do like the video, share it around, invite some of your enthusiast friends, and expect much more of this to come. This is just the beginning. So we wanted to give a shout out to the Wrecking Crew and the Pines is their compound.
Yep, and Zach Kurth for letting us get out there and get hands on his machine. And that's new to him, so to take a night that he doesn't get to play with it, appreciate it.
Yeah, and I appreciate it as well. So thank you guys for watching, and I want to thank everyone out at the Pines for having us, and we'll be back pretty soon, hopefully.
Absolutely.
See you.